I was asked to talk about the Great Reset, which is really a technocrat takeover, but it has at its core, despite the whole COVID and health and viral sort of cover, it has a monetary core. And I'd like to talk about that, and you will then see the link. Now, I'm an economist for my sins, and economics at one stage was a very promising discipline, and economists were very optimistic. Now, the most famous economist of the 20th century is John Maynard Keynes, and of course you know how these things work. But there's no doubt, that's what he is. And he wrote, actually it was originally a lecture, which he wrote up in 1928, looking ahead a century. And we're almost there, there's just a few years missing. Now in this lecture, it's called Possibilities for Our Grandchildren, he predicted that based on the past performance, where we have significant productivity gains, which lead to income gains, and therefore economic growth, prosperity. Based on his analysis, he predicted that 100 years later, so essentially now, people won't have to work anymore. And when you check his analysis, the shocking thing is not that we're very far removed from that prediction. The shocking thing is just how accurate he was in his calculations. And that is a big puzzle. He calculated the prosperity, the wealth, the incomes generated based on productivity gains. And he probably did not predict the Second World War and various forms of dislocation, which did happen in between, which of course, were a risk to his forecast. But the surprise is that productivity growth and even income growth, even per capita income growth, came in as he predicted. In fact, he had a range. And what we found was, what we're getting is at the upper end of his range of prediction. In other words, the prosperity came true. It has been generated. But we still have to work. So what's gone wrong? What Keynes could not fathom, what he could not imagine is that all this productivity and all this income and all this wealth would be generated, and yet would be so unevenly distributed that a very, very small group would claim it all and keep the rest as working drones. That he could not imagine, but that's what happened. So, we had these wonderful promises by economists, and there have been some setbacks. Now, of course, when you look at the general, the mood in economics after the Second World War, there was again this mood of optimism. There was good economic growth in the 50s and 60s, and it seemed ordinary people were doing quite well in those decades. So again, expectations were ratcheted up, and then economists were again predicting we will have a lot of prosperity in the coming decades. We've already seen from Keynes that this is not unreasonable. And I think we have to remind ourselves sometimes when we face all these bad things that are happening and bad policies leading to bad results, that actually the potential is there. Our problems, as JFK said, are man-made, therefore they may be solved by man. And man can be as big as he wants. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. And I believe that's true.